So I've made 40 color combinations into one ebook and give it out for free for my subscribers. But for those who are interested in how I created this PDF guide, I'm gonna take you in for a journey. Welcome. This is another workspace I have for mostly computer and editing work. So there are two screens that I work on, and the one on your right, this one is where I usually do video editing work or design work with a mouse. And this one is a Cintiq. I think it's 24 inches. And this one comes with a pen, which allows me to do my illustration on screen. Usually I work in Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop with this screen. For today's project, we just took some pictures. My plan is to bring all of them to Adobe Lightroom to color correct them, mainly just bring in more brightness and also make sure the colors are vibrant. And the next step is to import all of them into Adobe Photoshop. I have one sample image right here. Technically, for this color inspiration book, I can just like turn a bunch of images into a book and leave it as it is. But I feel like it would be more functional if I can turn it into some sort of digital sketchbook and leave some space for you to use the colors, either by taking notes or sketching. I feel like there is more function to it, which I really like. So I think I'm gonna go with that. That being said, this plan requires a lot more work because I need to think about the placement of these images. I'm just one person, so I took all these photos by myself, and the placement of the hand is different if you look really, really closely. But in the editing process, I want to make sure the placement is more or less consistent. So I'm gonna work on that for the next step. Right now, I'm just putting those in the same frame, and I will need to adjust the placement. You basically just double click and move it down. I mean, I think it's the little things that matter. It just makes it that more pleasant to look at. Even it's freebie, I think it's still worth it to spend the time to make it good. Actually, this set is definitely out of my comfort zone. Sometimes it's fun to experiment with color set you don't normally use. These guys are more neutral. They are more common in early spring because all the branches are still barren and you don't really see the sprouts yet, but the calendar tells you it's spring, so you know there is hope in those brown branches. Honestly, I have no idea who's watching a YouTube video wrangling with pixels. But I know that when I was learning, when I was just getting started, I love creators or illustrators getting into the tiniest detail so that I could learn how they design. All right, so now we have covered every image, and now I'm going to use Illustrator to kind of create a background for this image. All right, here's kind of my Illustrator sketchbook. I'm in Adobe Illustrator right now. I'm just gonna find a quiet spot. Actually, you see, whoops. Let's just zoom in. You see this little subtle grid? I kind of really like this. So I'm gonna use this as the background of our sketchbook. Now I am going to lock the image on top and then just paste what we had on the second layer, on the bottom layer. Let's see. And from here, if I paste it on the template, it's going to show up on every page. So I think this is a really good start. And my plan is to, for each page, to sample these colors in Photoshop and then just line them up over here. And for anyone who wants to take notes, or if they just want to draw something on this blank page, they have a fresh palette that they can use. So now we have the files. I'm just gonna bulk select them and then bring them to Photoshop. Okay, here is what it looks like after the import. I'm just gonna use the eyedropper tool to grab the color and then use the brush to paint it. One quick word about the color sampling is that when you just sample a color from an image, even when you paint on the canvas, it can look really, really off from your intention. This one is like a rosy light pink, but here is almost brown. So what I will do for this project is to hand color correct all of them so that you are looking at the color that your eyes are thinking. So I'm just gonna use the Recolor plugin and then sample the color here. I made up this plugin for me to work with color in Photoshop. So this is more of what the original color is meant to be. And then I'm gonna keep on working. This is a really good combo. Should have added that.